Hi, I'm Sheena. Today, we will be talking about managing gardens. This chapter aims to provide an overview of garden-based visitor attractions, identify and characterize the visitor to gardens, and examine the issues involved in managing sites which are both natural and social spaces and which were not initially developed as visitor attractions. While data regarding the popularity of gardens as visitor attractions globally are not currently available, official figures for the UK suggest that in the early years of the 21st century gardens represent 7% of the attractions section and account for 5% of all visits. These figures are almost certainly an underestimate as they do not recognize the attraction of gardens associated with historic properties, a category of attractions that accounts for 12% of all visits, and nor do they recognize the visits to the many hundreds of private gardens that open to the public on an occasional basis. One estimate is that between 300 and 400 million visits are made to historic parks and gardens in the UK each year. In France, there were 784 gardens open to visitors in 2002. An increase of more than 10% over the 5-year period. The number of visitors is also expanding. A survey of 405 French gardens revealed that in 2000, they had 25 million visitors compared to 18.5 million in 1999 and 11.5 million in 1998. Gardens are not purely attractions in Europe. They feature prominently in the promotion of countries in all parts of the world, and a number of them are designated as World Heritage Sites. The award of WHS status to Zuzou Gardens in China and the Garden Kingdom of Dessau-Wörlitz in Germany serves to demonstrate the universal value attributed to gardens as representative of different cultures. In practice, the designation of a garden attraction spans a diverse group of attractions with no single attribute to define them or to distinguish. For example, between a garden and a park, definition is complicated further, as few gardens constitute attractions in their own right. Many are just one part of an attraction, which has another draw. For example, the historic house which the garden complements. The garden may be the principal part of the attraction, or it may be subsidiary, and many gardens may have additional services that attract visitors, such as tea rooms and plants for sale. Includes botanical gardens as well as arboreta within its garden category. Excludes urban parks from her study of British gardens. However, garden-based attractions are usually permanent spaces where one of the purposes of cultivating plants is to give pleasure to the public. This definition includes the permanency of the space because show gardens are also constructed. Some of these last just a few days at historical shows, for example, at a Chelsea flower show, while others may be open to the public for several months at garden festivals, which are often popular as catalysts for regenerating areas, for example, in Germany. In other countries, whilst a garden-based attraction aims to provide a pleasurable experience during a visit, it may also be maintained for other purposes. Many gardens are conserved for their historical aspects because, for example, their layout is attributed to a leading garden designer, such as the Lutyens or Jekyll Garden at Hestercombe in England or Beatrix Farrand's design at Dumbarton Oaks in the USA, or the garden may have a direct association with a nationally important person. For example, Monet's garden at Givenchy in France. 3 gardens in England are WHS: Blenheim Palace, Fountains Abbey, and Studley Royal Water Garden, and the Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew. Additionally, in England there were 1531 historic parks gardens recorded in the Register of Parks and Gardens of Special Historic Interest, which is maintained by English Heritage. Approximately 10% of properties are of international importance and are classified as Grade 1. Around 30% are considered of exceptional historic interest and are awarded as Grade 2 status. The remainder have been identified as of sufficient interest to merit national designation Grade 2. More recently, gardens have adopted environmental aims. For example, Wakehurst Place in Sussex, England, contains the Millennium Seed Bank project. Meanwhile, the Eden project in Cornwall in southwest England has unambiguous environmental objectives and is designed to deliver a program of educational events for both the public and for the schools. Other gardens have a commemorative function. The gardens in London adjacent to the United States Embassy and the British Memorial Garden in Hanover Square, Lower Manhattan, have both implemented to remember those lost their life in New York in September 2001.